will also be displayed on the screen for those who do not have it. This is the meeting between RAL and SCOPA. We are just late by about 15 minutes MEC, because it was supposed to start at 11:30. So because our briefing was a little bit longer, we apologize for that. We know that in 15 minutes we could have checked one, what do you call those centers where you used to go for you could have done that thing for 15 minutes, but we apologize, but we think that we can cover up that particular time. So the first item is opening. We take this opportunity to officially open this very important session. This meeting that was supposed to be in August, but you requested to postpone it because of the commitments, and we really appreciate that today we're able to respond positively, and here you are to ensure that we track the resolutions. In the previous public hearings and even adopted by the House, we said we will have our quarterly meetings to have or to check the implementation of the resolutions. We are now in the second quarter, or the beginning of the third quarter, but this is our first meeting to interact and check and track the resolutions. We are doing so because we think that the implementation of resolution is very critical in ensuring that our financial statements are in order or are compiled in a way that will be assisting us to get the clean audits, to improve our audit outcomes, or to improve even our operations, because we are not only looking at the clean audit, we are also looking at the service delivery. When you don't meet targets, but the money is spent, we get worried because the ordinary people are disadvantaged. So we need to balance the issue of service delivery in terms of meeting our targets and even complying with the legislation in terms of spending the public funds. So that is what we want to see, because our people deserve better. So we are here to check from January up to now, what have you done? And according to the report that you have received, I'm not happy, MEC. I'm not happy. And I think this justifies the 2024-2025 AG's audit outcomes. Because there's no way you can improve if you don't implement your resolutions. If you don't do what you said you'll do, so how are you going to improve? And the question is, what were you doing in those offices? We even mentioned it in the House that RAL, out of 68 resolutions, they only resolved 34%. Only 34% is a big fail. It's a big fail. But what is more disturbing is that even after you have been given chance to go and at least have progress, you still come up with that particular zero. And I think, MEC, if we are to be very cruel, we're just going to say, take your people, not to go and do anything, just to go and discipline them first before you say anything. Because this calls for a discipline. This is underperformance, and underperformance is also an issue that can be taken to task. We are not happy, especially after you have regressed. You have ruined our progress. When we are saying, we're happy to say at least our departments are improving and our entities were also doing better, and we hope that for the improvements you go down. And not because of any mistake, because it was deliberate. Because you just put this resolution, you put them aside and do your own things. And we don't know what we were doing. That is why I'm saying, what were we doing in the offices? We are not happy at all. And we can't smile about that. We can't smile about it. When we say we want to track the resolution, we meant it. And we don't even know MEC, what we are doing here, because there's no progress at all. What are you going to say? Nothing at all. Nothing at all. And I'm serious when I say this needs consequence management on its own, before we can even get into issues. Because RAL was one entity that we were saying, at least we are banking, it can do better. But looking at the 34% non-resolve of the resolution, that was a red flag. And now, because you have not even tried anything, even after 6 months after we spoke to you, then it's just a disaster. And I'm saying, MEC, even before we get into the issues, we already have another appointment with the entity before the end of this month. And I think, let me just be specific, in 2 weeks. And we want to see at least above 60% of this resolution being implemented. We know that others are ongoing. We can't say they can be implemented now. But there must be progress. We must know where are we in terms of this implementation. So, I'm really not happy. I'm really not happy indeed, but you are welcome anyway, even when I'm not happy. You are welcome to this meeting, and we hope that getting out of this meeting, you know, what I hate, MEC, you know, being a chairperson is a very strenuous work. I've been chairperson for the most of part of my life. But what makes me very disturbed is that when you sit in a meeting, chair meeting, strenuous as it is, have resolutions, you go out, people don't implement. So it means you have wasted your precious time and energy. So that thing must stop. That thing must stop. We must just agree and go and work. There's no excuse for underperformance. No excuse at all. So I think we are very clear. We need to work. RAL is playing a very critical role in the province. You know, every day when I go home and when I come back, I say, MEC, I must take my car to the service because of the state of the road. And I am putting hope in this entity that one day that thing will be fine. But as long as we seem not to have progress in what we are doing, is really disturbing. Without any waste of time, I welcome everybody. MEC, you are acknowledged. I did not even acknowledge you because of the anger that I'm having. So So you are acknowledged with your entity, the chairperson of the board, and the entourage staff members that you are having. We also acknowledge the members of the SCOPA, the staff members, the AG, the Office of the Treasury. We've got representative here. You are welcome, the media from our legislature and everybody who is here. Thank you very much. And we also acknowledge the public or people who are watching us from different media platforms. You are also welcome. So without any waste of time, let's go to the introductions. We'll start with members of the SCOPA, starting with myself. My name is Esther Mukwele, the chairperson of SCOPA in the province. If you may also, yeah, you can use that one.
Morning, Chairperson. Good morning to everyone in this house, MEC, Tatetweni, and your colleagues and our staff members. My name is Asnat Manchoman. I'm the member of this SCOPA committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. Greetings, MEC and your entourage, and the chairperson of the board, and all present here. My name is Honorable Nempumbo Ntisi, member of the committee.
Thank you very much, honorable members. Can we allow the legislature staff to introduce?
Good morning, Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Members, Honorable MEC, and colleagues. My name is William Mkari. I'm the Committee Coordinator for the Standing Committee on Public Accounts. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Chair, Honorable Members, and my name is Tikele Dishadu, Committee Coordinator, Legislature.
Morning, Chairperson, honorable members, morning, MEC and your staff. My name is Martin Choshi, researcher.
Greetings to the chairperson of the committee, honorable members and the MEC. My name is Jerry Shrinda, researcher.
Morning, Chairperson and honorable members. My name is Saul More. I'm with Communication Services in the legislature.
Good morning, I'm Mudivar Nelo, IT support.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sandra Ntuli, Communication Officer, ANC Party Caucus.
Kgotso, my name is Rachel Sen.
At the back, can you stand up so that we see you?
Kgotso, my name is Rachel Senel, researcher for the United African Transformation.
Good morning, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members, Honorable MEC, officials. I am Chantal Wagner, Committee Coordinator, Public Works, Roads and Infrastructure.
Good morning, Maura Neshitsebe, Communication Services.
Good morning, my name is Ketima Mabolo, the Legal Advice.
Okay, thank you, staff. MSC, can you introduce yourself and your interest?
Morning, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members, Honorable MEC, Acting CEO, Rachel D, and colleagues, including colleagues from Treasury and AG's office. My name is Moses Tsedi, the chairperson of the Roads Agency Limpopo Board.
Thank you very much, and good morning to the Honorable Chair and Honorable members of the committee, Honorable MEC, Chairperson, and all colleagues. My name is Motlanke Pokunzi. I'm the HOD for Public Works, Roads and Infrastructure. Thanks.
Good morning, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members, and good morning to Honorable MEC, Chairperson of the Board, HOD, and the colleagues from RAL and elsewhere, and the department as well. My name is Makita Chisani. I'm the Acting Chief Executive Officer of RAL. Thank you.
Good morning, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members, and Honorable MEC, Chairperson of the Board, HODs, Acting CEO, and colleagues. My name is Hubian Makopa, CFO of Roads Agency Limpopo. Thank you.
Good morning, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members, Honorable MEC, and our Board Chairperson, the HOD, the Acting CEO, and my colleagues. My name is Denny Logodi. I am the Acting Executive Manager for Monitoring and Evaluation at RAL. Thank you.
Good morning, Honorable Chairperson, members, Honorable MEC, HOD, Chairperson of the Board for RAL, Acting CEO for RAL, and colleagues. My name is Mushu Mukhala. I'm the Executive Manager for Engineering at RAL. Thank you.
Good morning, Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Members, Honorable MEC, Board Chairperson, HOD, Acting CEO, and colleagues. My name is Kishan Tulsi. I'm the General Manager for Planning and Design at RAL.
Greetings to honorable members, honorable chair, honorable MEC, our acting CEO, and our HOD, and all colleagues. My name is Lidile Mashilwani. I'm the Chief Director for Roads in Public Works. Thank you.
Morning, Honorable Chairperson, honorable members, honorable MEC, colleagues. My name is Matlasedi Mhlabane, the CFO responsible for the Department of Public Works, Roads and Infrastructure.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chairperson, honorable members, Honorable MEC, our Chairperson of the Roads Agency Board, HOD, Acting CEO, and all the colleagues. My name is Elvis Homeson. I'm the Acting General Manager, Operations from Roads Agency Limpopo. Thank you.
Good afternoon, honorable members, honorable MEC, colleagues. My name is Leanda Sitole. I am the Communications Manager for Roads Agency Limpopo. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Honorable MEC, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members, colleagues. My name is Pesin Chabeleng, Community Outreach Officer, Public Works, Road and Infrastructure.
Greetings, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members. My name is Mohadi Matlonya. I am the Assistant Company Secretary.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chairperson, the Honorable Members, to the Honorable MEC, to the chairperson of the board, the HOD for the department, acting CEO and the team. My name is Mavis Mashashani, acting executive manager corporate services in the Roads Agency Limpopo. Thank you.
Good afternoon, honorable members. I'm Kariso Komana, the acting company secretary, Road Agency Limpopo.
Good morning, everyone. Afternoon, sorry. All protocol observed. My name is Mathe Popoko. I'm the appointment secretary to MEC Public Works.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, MEC. Good morning, honorable members. My name is Emmanuel Mongwe, the media liaison officer, Public Works.
Avuxeni vachaviseki, vito ra meme witness wakati va ntirhela le ofisini ya MEC.
Yeah, okay. It seems like all have introduced themselves. Unless if we are living, I guess we know each other now. Okay. Oh, sorry, I passed the provincial treasurer. Yeah. Usually I take you as staff. I agree you are always with us.
I'm Dikeledi Tindesa, the acting provincial accountant general from Treasury. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Matavus Chocho, Provincial Treasury Assistant Director, Legislature Oversight.
Yeah, thank you very much. Can we check if there are apologies? I know there are apologies from members. Mr. Mkari, can you deal with it?
Oh, thank you very much, Honorable Chair. We have received apologies from the following members. Honorable Mahasela, Honorable Sebopela, and Honorable Mapolu. Thank you very much.
Honorable MEC, do you have apologies?
No honorable member from our side of
Yeah, thank you very much. We are noting the apologies from members, and we really appreciate that you are full house from the RAL team. We are moving to the presentation of the House resolutions, but MEC, you see, when I was doing the observation and I'm looking at your entourage, and I said, but that is why these people cannot do as expected. There's no balance. We know anywhere where there can be a balance, there are always problems. So this is the problem, the first problem that I have noticed. So from more analyst team ya bafana management maybe the can be the goal. Where are ladies? Where are women? And I hope this will be corrected. Please, please. And this is not a joke. Mudima said he knew that there must be somewhere where we complement each other. And that is what is lacking in your team. Please go and fix it. I'm telling you, next year we'll come here with a different story. So we are going to allow you, MEC, to tackle number 4, the presentation of the House resolution. And the time is yours now.
Honorable Chair and good afternoon to honorable member. Through you, Chair, allow me to request that to
take us through the presentation. Tatelogodi, over to you.
Maybe before that, let's just have an understanding for the benefit of those people who are on different media. When we present or when you ask questions, can we just first introduce them ourselves so that they may not just assume who's speaking? So I think it's very critical. Thank you very much. And those at the back, when you speak, can you just stand up for the camera to capture you? We don't want in future when we go through this meeting, you say, no, it was not me, where do you see me? But you say, this is your voice, I know it's not me. So we just need to capture each and every moment for the benefit of the public in particular. Thank you, MEC.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, Honorable Chair, Honorable MEC. Without a waste of time, I'm going to go through the prepared bundle and with its annexures. I'll mainly focus on the responses as a progress report on the implementation of the Standing Committee on Public Accounts and the House resolutions from 2014-2015 financial year to the year 2020-2021. Honorable Chair, we have summarized the resolutions on page 3, which are in progress. The details are in the report that I will go through. The first one is stagnation in the audit outcomes, followed by irregular expenditure, procurement and contract management, significant uncertainties, fruitless and wasteful expenditure, impairment loss and project expenses, achievement of performance targets, collapse of RAL, annual financial statements not prepared in the prescribed framework, annual financial statements and annual report, the key audit findings, the SIU investigation reports, other reports that are investigations. We have also summarized the unresolved matters from 2014 to 2015 financial year up to 2020-2021 financial year. Allow me to start with the first resolution on stagnant in the audit outcomes. The stagnation in the audit process was driven by several factors, with the primary cause being non-compliance with supply chain management procedures, which led to significant irregular expenditure. The bulk of this irregular expenditure stemmed from the appointment of contractors from a panel whose term expired in December 2024. Since that expiration of the panel, RAL has not made any further appointments from it. In the 2024-2025 financial year, RAL applied for condonement of all procurement transactions related to this panel, and all applications were approved. This condonement resulted in the reduction of irregular expenditure by 4.244 billion. As of the end of Q1, the total irregular expenditure amounts to 6.420 billion. And it is broken down as follows. 1, project not budgeted for as per vote number 9, that is the table B5, and the amount thereof is 2,066,067 billion. And the second one, missing of unavailable supporting documents, that amounts to 1,098 628 billion. 3 is the non-compliance with SCEM policies and treasury regulations, which amount to 3,255,555 billion. That makes that total of 6,420,250 billion. That entity is currently prioritizing the condonement of projects that were not budgeted for in Table 5, with a full amount of 2,066 billion expected to be resolved by the end of Q3. Another key factor contributing to audit stagnation was the need for post-submission adjustments to the annual financial statements. These adjustments primarily addressed misstatements in property, plant, and equipment, particularly road infrastructure assets, as well as the disclosure of irregular expenditure. Key interventions that were implemented by the Executive Authority to bring stability and governance oversight include the establishment of the new Board of Directors for the entity and the appointment of the Audit and Risk Committee. The Board of Directors established. The Board of RAL was appointed on the 1st of April 2025, and the following committees of the board were established. The first one is the Planning and Contracts Committee, which has the oversight responsibility of ensuring that during procurement of goods and services, there is value for money. RAL facilitates open and effective competition and also upholds ethics and provides equity and transparency. The second committee is that of Human Resources and Remuneration Committee, which is responsible for, amongst the other things, reviewing and recommending human resources and remuneration policies and practices that enable the board to attract and retain employees who will add value to the entity, ensuring compliance with labor-related legislation, and establishing an effective management team. The third committee is Social and Ethics Committee, which is responsible for reviewing and monitoring the transformation practice and ensuring that ethical conduct and practices are upheld by directors and employees. The fourth committee is that of Nominations Committee. This committee is responsible for making recommendations to the board on the appointment and reappointment of executive and non-executive directors and recommending the most appropriate composition of the board to enable the board to execute its duties effectively. Another measure is that of the Audit and Risk Committee appointment. The process of re-establishing the Audit and Risk Committee started in the current financial year of 2025-2026, following all the required processes. Candidates were interviewed, and the appointment of the members will be in place by the 15th of August 2025, which I can confirm they are. 3.1 is property, plant, and equipment. Misstatements in this category were caused by inconsistencies between the condition of road assets and recorded in the asset register and their actual condition on the ground. This was mainly due to the incomplete condition assessment of the road network. To address this issue, RAL is in the process of appointing a new service provider to carry out a comprehensive visual condition assessment. The appointment is expected to be finalized by the beginning of Q3. The terms of reference have been revised to address previous shortcomings, ensuring that the service provider will actively support the development and maintenance of a reliable and accurate road infrastructure asset register. On 3.2, irregular expenditure. The missed
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, in fact, I was wondering and thinking, I was hoping that maybe the executive manager, planning and design, maybe was just delegated to deal with a particular aspect of the report. But it looks like is the one who is going to present. And we are aware of the principle of delegation. But where is the executive office? I know that you are the one who must respond to us, and you can delegate, and the delegate, they also delegates. Delegates. Mhm. No, you can't delegate to Mr. Loho. You delegate to the executive authority, and it ends up there. If you delegate to the executive authority, then you have done your delegation. And then if the executive authority, executive officer is saying, can I please delegate? But is worrying, why this delegation? This is the third step now. The third of layer of, and is really worrying. I'm not against it, and I'm not saying you must not do it, but there must be a convincing reason why delegating. So I thought maybe it's just introducing, then we'll take back to the accounting officer who must account, because here we want you to account, and you are not going to let him to account for anything, because the level at which he's just here to support you on issues that you can need support, but the real people who must account, let them account, please. So you are just asking him to just to read on your behalf. Okay, it's fine, but it really should not be like that. Yeah, it to me is just shifting. You shift responsibility. The one that shifts, you also shift. When I grew up, batswadi ba ka e ba ka o roma. Wa roma moratho ao. Hey, you be beaten. O re romile wena, ka se o roma wena wa roma. So MEC le rena re roma o roma ba bangwe le bona ba ya ba roma. So a relocation is not just formally about just to come here to say anybody can just come and do it. No, we can't allow it. We hope that you are noting it and noting it very strongly. You can continue.
regular expenditure. The misstatement of irregular expenditure was also driven by a high volume of contractor appointments that were made late in the financial year, combined with inadequate coordination between the finance and engineering divisions. As a result, several appointments were not included in the annual financial statements. To mitigate this risk, RAL has introduced a monthly reconciliation process that links the contract register, general expenditure accounts, and irregular expenditure disclosures. While some initial implementation challenges were experienced, notable progress has been made, significantly reducing the likelihood of similar audit findings in the future. Lastly, misstatements in the performance information also posed audit challenges. The entity is currently undertaking measures to enhance the accuracy, completeness, and reliability of this information to ensure future compliance and improved audit outcomes. Point 4 is irregular expenditure. Progress in addressing irregular expenditure in 2024-2025 and beyond. In the 2024-25 financial year, the entity made significant progress in addressing irregular expenditure. A total of 4.244 billion was condoned during the year, and there is an annexure 1 to that effect. And this amount is including the following: 3.657 billion related to the procurement of contractors from the expired panel. 330.038 million related to the procurement of projects not listed in Table B5. That is on Annexure 2. 147.974 million due to failure to advertise tender in the government bulletin. And 108.583 million related to the appointment of a contractor that failed to attach the mandatory addendum. Appropriate consequence management actions were taken against the responsible officials in all instances where investigations were completed, namely Chief Financial Officer with 3 months suspension without pay. There's an Annexure 3 to that effect. Chief Executive Officer dismissal. There's Annexure 4. General Manager of Operations, there's a warning letter, there's Annexure 5. Chief Financial Officer, warning letter, that's Annexure 6. The entity plans to submit a condonement application in Q3 of the 2025-2026 financial year for irregular expenditure amounting to 2.066 billion, arising from the procurement of projects not budgeted for in Table B5. In Q4, the entity will begin the process of applying for condonement related to lost documents valued at 1.099 billion as at the end of Q1 of 2025-2026. This process is expected to take longer and will likely be completed in Q1 of 2026-2027 financial year. The condonement process for irregular expenditure related to lost documentation was initiated in 2021 financial year when the entity opened a case with the South African Police Services, case number CAS 156/1/2021. Despite several follow-ups, no progress reports have been received from the South African Police Services to date. The slow pace in resolving irregular expenditure has also been affected by multiple investigations conducted both internally and externally. In 2018, the Special Investigation Unit commenced an investigation following a presidential proclamation during which documents were collected from RAL. A separate forensic investigation by BDO Advisory Services began in 2019, and further documentation was obtained. Combined, the documents taken by the SIU and BDO Advisory Services relate to transactions worth 2.1 billion, and their removal significantly delayed internal investigations. While some documents have since been returned by BDO Advisory Services, the process remains incomplete. To support ongoing efforts, RAL appointed an independent service provider, Samba Solutions Incorporated, in 2024. They have since submitted a draft report which forms a basis for further consequence management. The findings in this report also enabled the entity to prepare condonement applications for irregular expenditure incurred during the 2024-25 financial year. Point number 5 on procurement and contract management. The entity has strengthened its contract management by implementing systems and processes to ensure full compliance with supply chain management requirements. Key interventions include strict adherence to Table B5, discontinuation of appointments from expired panels, continuous oversight by the Internal Control Unit, annual training for bid committee members, and the enforcement of consequence management against officials responsible for irregular expenditure. Adherence to Table B5. Table B5 is developed based on the entity's available budget and is approved by the Provincial Treasury after alignment with the approved financial plan. This procurement plan is subject to review and amendment during the mid-year budget review to accommodate new or prioritized projects. Since the implementation of this approach, there has been a noticeable decline in the number of projects executed outside of the approved procurement plan. 5.2 is the appointment of panels. A significant portion of prior irregular expenditure was due to appointment of contractors from a panel whose term expired in December 2024. In the 2024-2025 financial year, no appointments were made from the expired panel. A new contractor panel became effective in July 2025 with improved processes to prevent recurrence of past irregularities. Specifically, appointments from the new panel are structured to avoid repeated selection of the same service providers. 5.3 regarding consequence management. To enhance compliance with SEM regulations, consequence management has been enforced against officials found to have violated procurement procedures. The responsible officials and action taken are as follows. Mr. M. Khwatla. In attempt to take action against this official, Mr. M. Khwatla, the accounting officer did not review his contract when it expired. Mr. M. Machi, when the investigations were ongoing, the former CEO, Mr. M.P. Machi, voluntarily resigned from his position and left the entity. Consequently, no action was taken against him. Mr. G. Malulek. The official was suspended for several offenses, including causing irregular expenditure, and was later dismissed. Mr. H. Maropa. A written warning was issued in relation to implementation of projects outside of the approved Table 5 schedule. And secondly, a 3-month suspension without pay. Mr. M. Ramabua. A written warning was issued in relation to implementation of projects outside of the approved Table 5 schedule. Mr. K. Tulsi. A written warning was issued in relation to implementation of projects outside of the approved Table 5 schedule. Paragraph 6 is regarding significant uncertainties. The table below summarizes the litigation cases included in the contingent liabilities of as of the 31st March 2025. Going to list them as follows. The first one, the nature of litigation is motor vehicle accidents. The amount claimed is 50,14 million. Probable settlement is 43 million, 141. And the number of litigations in this category are 18. The second nature of litigation is employment contracts, and the amount claimed there is 46,486,000. And probable settlement is 14,486,000. And the number of litigations are 2. Number 3 is the property infringements as the nature of litigation, and the amount claimed is 20,470,000. And the probable settlement is 25,470,000. The number of litigations are 2. The fourth nature of litigation is construction contracts, which is 70,557,000 as the amount claimed, and the probable settlement is 68,923,000, and the number of litigations are 9. The fifth and last nature of litigation is a general category of other litigations, and the amount claimed there is 4,390,000, and the probable settlement 4,390,000, and the number of litigations is 1. So the total amount claimed is 192,000,044, when as the probable settlement will be 156,411. The total number of litigations combined is 32. Paragraph 7 regarding fruitless and wasteful expenditure. We have a detailed report on the fruitless and wasteful expenditure. The following table represents a detail of fruitless and wasteful expenditure of the entity, totaling 8,043 million. The first one is the payee name there is SACE, and the incident description is no show. The amount is 2,640 million. Second is Nambeti Technologies, and the incident is market analysis amount quoted above the market analysis by 108%, and the amount is 158,962. The third is Verfian Attorneys. The incident relates to employee settlement, and the amount is 7,839,805 million. The third is Lorodi Attorneys, overpayment of legal fees at 10 million. And the next is Machaba Attorneys, overpayment of legal fees at 3,854 million. And the last is Safalafala Attorneys of thousands.
Okay.
I'm being
Apologies, can you hold it there? Honorable Mabucha?
It's speaking about a total of 8.043 million. But the numbers that the presenters is already presenting on, we are somewhere on beyond this 8.043 million. So I just wanted to check if maybe it's just a mistake on his part, or the numbers are as they are on this report.
Okay, can we allow him to proceed, and then we'll raise that during the questions?
Thanks, Chair.
You can proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. And my apologies for that, it was a mistake on my part. And the item B, action taken to recover the money from responsible officials. Recovered fruitless expenditure is the entity has recovered 2,640 from one of the responsible officials in 2022-2023, while ongoing efforts recovered a further 41,207 in 2023-2024. And the table below indicate those recoveries from says is the 2,640 that was recovered in 2022-2023. From Nambiti Technologies, there was no recovery. From Ferfian Attorneys, there was none. From Lehodi Attorneys, that overpayment of legal fees of 10,000 rands was recovered in 2023-2024. From Machaba Attorneys, the overpayment of legal fees of 3,854 was recovered in 2023-2024. And from Sefalafala Attorneys, the overpayment of legal fees of 27,353 was also recovered in 2023-2024, totaling an amount of 43,847,000. The investigation and recovery of the fruitless and wasteful expenditure from responsible officials. During the 2011-2012 financial year, RAL faced legal proceedings arising from labor disputes initiated by former employees. An arbitration award was delivered in favor of the former employees at an amount of 347,840,024 cents, which the entity failed to pay during the period when the entity was under administration. The settlement agreement amount to 7.840 million was paid in December 2022. This outcome resulted in fruitless and wasteful expenditure. It is important to note that failure to settle this amount would have led to court-enforced asset attachment. Delays in the attempt to set aside the award resulted in a settlement agreement reached to close the matter. Furthermore, a balance of 158,962 rands in fruitless and wasteful expenditure arose from a payment exceeding market analysis estimate. However, an investigation revealed that this payment should not have been classified as fruitless and wasteful expenditure, as the market analysis price referred to a product or service that was not directly comparable to the one procured. The investigation report has been submitted to the Audit and Risk Committee for review and recommendation for reversal by the accounting authority. The report was sent back for rework and will be resubmitted in Q2 of 2025-2026 financial year. The remaining balance, that of 43,847, arose from various factors as detailed in that table, and all have been recovered. Paragraph 8 is impairment loss and project expenses. The entity has developed and implemented a road asset management system, which plays a critical role in identifying roads that require maintenance. Furthermore, the entity ensures full compliance with the Division of Revenue Act, that is the DORA, requirements by utilizing the Provincial Road Management Grant strictly for its intended purpose, for the purpose of the maintenance of roads. Over the years, the entity has consistently achieved full utilization of the PRMG allocation for road maintenance activities. In certain years, the entity has also implemented the PRMG with funding from the equitable share to further support road maintenance needs. It is important to note that the equitable share is not subject to specific conditional requirements. Additionally, the establishment of panels for contractors and consultants has helped streamline procurement processes, enabling efficient project implementation and full utilization of the PRMG in previous financial years. Impairment losses arise from unforeseen events such as floods or unusually high traffic volumes that damage road infrastructure. In this case, the impairment loss resulted solely from the write-off of property, plant and equipment, and did not involve any loans. Financial constraints remain a significant challenge. To address this, the Executive Authority, in collaboration with RAL, is actively engaging with National Treasury, Provincial Treasury, and Infrastructure South Africa under the Office of the Presidency through the budget facility for infrastructure to secure additional funding. And Annexure 7 is the acknowledgement letter from the National Treasury's budget facility for infrastructure, referred to as BFI, application made by RAL. Paragraph 9 is the achievement of performance targets. The procedures for the facilitation of effective performance monitoring were reviewed and improved in 2024-2025. The capacity of the agency's evaluation function is in the process of being strengthened by filling the vacancies in 2025-2026. Approval was obtained from Treasury to fill the vacancies in the agency. The responsible managers whose units had not achieved the performance targets were issued with warning letters. And they are listed as the Executive Manager for Monitoring and Evaluation, there's Annexure 8, Chief Financial Officer, there's Annexure 9, General Manager of Operations, there's Annexure 10, General Manager of Planning and Design, Annexure 11. On paragraph 10, regarding the collapse of Roads Agency Limpopo. RAL faced financial challenges in the 2017-2018 financial year when it overcommitted around 2.8 billion at that time. Measures were since taken to reduce the overcommitment, and the overcommitment was cleared by the year 2022-2023. The overcommitment of 1.3 billion experienced in 2024-2025 due to the implementation of projects that were not on Table B5 is being addressed by making sure that only approved projects with a budget provision are implemented. The Executive Authority initiated a dedicated program of stakeholder engagements called Stakeholder Tuesdays to listen to the community concerns about roads, whilst seizing the opportunity to reach an understanding of the constraints of the 7th administration in constructing new roads. Where the need was high, an intervention of servicing the existing gravel road was extended to the community. This intervention, which many appreciate, is the Dikharekhara program, aimed at making gravel roads drivable. No new commitments to upgrade gravel to tar was made in any of the stakeholder engagements, thereby avoiding any reoccurrence of irregular expenditure by embarking on projects that were not on the approved Table B5. In the current financial year, the agency is in liaison with the Executive Authority monitoring the financial commitments to ensure the entity operate as a going concern. Paragraph 11, annual financial statements not prepared in the prescribed framework. The adjustments made to the annual financial statements after their initial submission for audit resulted in findings of non-compliance with the prescribed accounting framework. These post-submission corrections primarily involve the classification and valuation of property, plant, and equipment, particularly road infrastructure, as well as the disclosure of irregular expenditure. The following explain the progress made in ensuring that the repeat of the finding is avoided. Subparagraph 11.1 on property, plant, and equipment. Misstatements in this category were caused by inconsistencies between the condition of road assets and as recorded in the asset register and their actual condition on the ground. This was mainly due to the incomplete condition assessment of the road network. To address this issue, RAL is in the process of appointing a new service provider to carry out a comprehensive visual condition assessment. The appointment is expected to be finalized by the beginning of Q3. The terms of reference have been revised to address previous shortcomings, ensuring that the service provider will actively support the development and maintenance of a reliable and accurate road infrastructure asset register. Subparagraph 11.2 on irregular expenditure. The misstatement of irregular expenditure was also driven by the high volume of contractor appointments made late in the financial year, combined with inadequate coordination between the finance and engineering divisions. As a result, several appointments were not included in the annual financial statements. To mitigate this risk, RAL has introduced a monthly reconciliation process that links the contractor register, general expenditure accounts, and irregular expenditure disclosures. While some initial implementation challenges were experienced, notable progress has been made, significantly reducing the likelihood of similar audit findings in the future. Paragraph 12, regarding annual financial statements and the annual report. 12.1, proper record management system to maintain information that support reported performance. Resolution of historical challenges in document management. In previous reporting periods, the entity experienced instances of lost or inaccessible documents, particularly those required to support performance information and procurements. This challenge has since been resolved through the identification of root causes and the implementation of corrective measures. No further losses of documents have been reported following the implementation of the new measures. The main corrective measures include upgrade of the registry into record management function, implementation of standardized filing system, centralization of records storage, introduction of clear marking and labeling protocols, performance reporting supported by verified evidence. Subparagraph 12.2 regarding the review and monitor compliance with applicable procurement legislation and the PFMA. The entity has undertaken a series of initiatives aimed at strengthening and streamlining its supply chain management processes to ensure full compliance and improve operational efficiency. A, development of SCM standard operating procedures. To enhance governance and consistency in procurement practices, the entity has developed detailed SCM standard operating procedures. These procedures are aligned with the PFMA and relevant national treasury regulations and provide clear guidance to SCM practitioners on all procurement processes, from planning through to contract management. B, establishment of a panel of contractors and consultants. To reduce instances of non-compliance and improve turnaround times in procurement, the entity has established a panel of pre-approved contractors and consultants. This measure streamlines procurement processes for commonly required services and ensures that engagements are made within the compliant and transparent framework. C, procurement compliance checklist. The entity has also developed a procurement compliance checklist to facilitate regular and structured reviews of procurement transactions. This tool supports proactive identification and rectification of non-compliance risks and serves as an internal control mechanism to promote accountability and adherence to procurement policies. D, filling of critical SCM vacancies. Strengthening the SCM unit is a priority, and steps have been taken to fill key vacant positions within the unit. This includes the appointment of skilled personnel to improve internal capacity and support the implementation of controls, monitoring, and oversight functions. Paragraph 13. Review a plan to ensure that material misstatements in the annual financial statements. In addressing this recommendation, the entity has instituted several key interventions aimed at strengthening financial reporting and enhancing the integrity of the annual financial statements. A, development and implementation of the audit action plan. The entity has developed a detailed audit action plan based on previous audit outcomes. The plan outlines specific corrective actions to address the root causes of prior material statements and control deficiencies. It is monitored regularly to track progress and ensure that each action item is fully implemented within set timelines. B, ongoing monitoring and corrective action. The audit action plan is subject to continuous oversight by both the accounting authority and executive management. Where deviations or delays are identified, corrective measures are immediately implemented to ensure the plan remains on track and effective in addressing audit findings. C, appointment of a service provider for the road asset management system. The entity has appointed a service provider for the implementation of a comprehensive road asset management system. This system is essential for the accurate and reliable valuation, classification, and accounting of road infrastructure assets in accordance with applicable accounting standards. The implementation of RAMs will significantly reduce the risk of misstatements relating to infrastructure assets. D, preparation of quarterly financial statements. As part of strengthening financial reporting, the entity now prepares quarterly financial statements. This proactive approach allows for early detection and correction of misstatements, ensures consistent application of accounting policies throughout the year, and improves the overall quality of the year and annual financial statements. E, internal audit review prior to submission to the Auditor General of South Africa. To further enhance the credibility of the annual financial statements, the entity has instituted a process whereby the internal audit unit conducts a thorough review of the draft annual financial statements before submission to the AGSA. This independent review ensures that the financial statements are accurate, complete, and compliant with applicable reporting frameworks prior to external audit. Paragraph 14 on key audit findings. A comprehensive audit action plan informed by the AGSA findings has been developed and approved. The implementation of this plan is closely monitored through monthly progress reviews conducted by senior management. Where delays or gaps in implementation are identified, corrective measures are immediately instituted to ensure that all audit-related issues are resolved in a timely manner. This proactive monitoring has contributed significantly to improved internal controls and reporting accuracy. To strengthen financial management capacity, the entity has made notable progress in addressing critical vacancies. Key appointments have been made in the finance unit, including the senior finance manager and manager infrastructure procurement. These appointments are aimed at improving financial oversight, compliance, and the effective implementation of procurement processes in line with the entity's strategic objectives. To improve the spending of the budget, the entity has established panels of contractors and consultants, which has contributed to the streamlining of procurement processes. This intervention has helped accelerate project implementation and mitigate delays that previously contributed to underspending. In addition, quarterly reviews of expenditure are conducted to assess spending performance across all programs. Where possible underspending is identified, it is timeously reported to the relevant stakeholders, including provincial treasury, in accordance with the applicable guidelines. Where the underspending is due to factors beyond the control of the entity, such as delays in intergovernmental processes or external dependencies, these are escalated and appropriately documented. To further strengthen financial reporting, the entity continues to invest in ongoing training and capacity building for officials responsible for the preparation of the annual financial statements. These training sessions focus on the interpretation and application of accounting standards, financial disclosure requirements, and audit preparedness to prevent future material misstatements. Paragraph, paragraph 15, the SIU investigation report. The Special Investigation Unit investigation report has been concluded and formally submitted to the Executive Authority and the Accounting Authority for implementation. Letters of intention to institute corrective measures were issued to the affected employees to show cause why they should not be charged. Officials who were implicated in the SIU report were mentioned in the BDO Advisory Services report. To date, consequence management was applied to 5 of the affected officials, as evidenced by the attached correspondence in annexure number 12. Paragraph 16, that is regarding other reports of investigations. Completed in forensic investigations by BDO Advisory Services for the year 2023-2024. The recommended actions against the implicated officials are implemented as in the attached letters of annexure number 12. Current forensic investigation by STEP Sigma. RAL has appointed STEP Sigma for a period of 6 months with effect from the 1st of April 2025 to the 30th of September 2025 to conduct forensic investigations into allegations of fraud and corruption, which include but not limited to irregular, fruitless and wasteful expenditure incurred with recommendations there in accordance with the PFMA, Treasury regulations, and National Treasury Framework, and other applicable legislation. The forensic investigators are busy with the investigation. I have reached the end of the update, Honorable Chair, Honorable MEC. Thank you.
No, thanks. Maybe before Chair, I then hand over this baton back to you and honorable members. Let me start by indicating that we have heard the concerns of the committee as presented here by yourselves, Chair, on behalf of the committee. And just to appreciate the constructive criticism that the committee is showing in order to make sure that they push us as RAL and the department to do correct things. But also emphasizing, Chair, that I'm also aware in terms of the resolutions of the House, but also not happy with how these resolutions have been handled in terms of the responses. So we're together, and we had you on behalf of the committee. We are going to make sure that we then deal with these particular issues, and also on the issue that the Honorable Chair you have raised on who to present in the meeting. I think it was very clear. The acting CEO and on behalf of RAL, and also the HOD on behalf of the department. We are going to adhere to that, and thanks for allowing us today to then continue with our presentation. So in a nutshell, Chair, before I allow you, this is the presentation from us as the department with those slight improvements that we've made, the strides that we've made since the 7th administration. But the fact of the matter is that this is our report. We are here now. We will account for everything that has happened in 2014, 2015 to 2020, 2021. So this remains the responses from the department. Thanks. Over to you, Chair.
Thank you very much, MEC. The principle of delegatus non potest delegare, meaning that you can't delegate a delegate. If you are delegate, you can't further delegate. That is very crucial, and especially for the purpose of this. And I'm happy that you have noted it. And we believe that the other officials here are here to support you and the chairperson and the CEO. They will close the gap where you need a specialized explanation. And that is why we want them here. And their presence is very, very, very important. It's not like we're undermining them. We know that they have a very important role to play, because as the accounting officer, obviously you are not doing everything in the department. But as much as you've got that responsibility and accountability role, then you must take a lead and they must support you in terms of explaining that, explaining those things that you might miss. And we really appreciate that positive acknowledgement, MEC. We believe that is where it starts, to acknowledge, so that when we go back, we'll be able to remind each other that this and that right. We must acknowledge, like, there is very, very, very little that has been done. If I can use a very harsh word, I can say what is insignificant progress. Insignificant in a way that it does not solve what we wanted to solve up to this far. Because these resolutions are not just elastic, they are there to address a particular challenge. And the phases at which we implement them will ultimately assist us to reach our goal. So, but as I'm looking as you are presenting, is that the progress is very insignificant, but we can improve. There is always a room for improvement. Is that from our structures that are supporting us, MEC, I must indicate that they are saying they don't get cooperation from the entity, and that is not that is worrying, because the reason why we are always with the Treasury here, it supports SCOPA, and we hold them accountable to support all the departments and the entities, that they must work with the entities and the departments every day, so that if there are some deviations, they are corrected on time. So, but it looks like they are not winning in that regard. And as long as we don't cooperate with the Treasury, because it's the custodian of this financial statement, then we are likely not to improve in what we are doing. So we are appealing to you, colleagues, that as SCOPA, we are always on the neck of the Treasury to account on how they support you. So if they can't get cooperation from you, then it is a challenge. On the issue of the stagnation of the audit outcomes, remember some of these things were presented during the hearing, but our expectation was to say the audit action plan, we are here and they have benefited 1, 2, 3 out of this measure. Today we don't want to hear that you have established an audit plan. We heard it during the public hearing. So what we want to hear as a progress, remember this is a progress report meeting. We want you to say, based on the presentation of the audit action plan, we were able to do this, it has benefited us on this way, or we think that this clause that we included in this plan is not implementable, we are revising it. I mean, that is progress. We don't just have a written plan and put it in the file or store it or save it on our computer to say, when SCOPA comes, you say, here is the plan. Anyway, we don't even have it now. Because if you are having a progress, you'll be saying, here is the action plan, this is the first action, and then we have done 1, 2, 3. This is the explanation of an action plan. It talks. It must be systematic. It must talk to real things that are happening, and they are not there. We are still talking, we are still saying you have it. Yes, it's there. But what is it doing? Is it assisting us in any way? No. So that's the first thing that I wanted to comment in terms of the stagnation. That you have already had that, but you are not implementing it. Worse is that you have regressed. We don't want to talk about this other one because it's still having its own day. But we will say you are not able to implement this plan, hence you even regressed. The other thing, MEC, on page 6, You are talking about the audit and risk committee appointment. That the appointment should be done by the 15th of August, or was supposed to be done by the 15th of August. And I'm saying progress of resolutions. I know that our initial meeting was in August, and that meeting could not materialize. But from the 15th up to now is 6 weeks. We were supposed to get a report, even if you have not revised your presentation, for example, because we received this memory sticks some time ago. Even if you have not sent the reworked memory stick, hence the issue of delegation. You were supposed to say in your presentation, ever since the 15th, this has been implemented. We have appointed. Re bolela ka progress. If you have to indicate progress, even if something happened yesterday, you could not amend your document. You will just note it to say, after sending the document, there was a development on this issue. You can present it verbal, and then we note it, and we know in the future, then it will be in the. So 6 weeks, it means you have not done anything in terms of this resolution. You stopped at that time, and you said, no, we were waiting for the SCOPA to appear. We have the resolution. What was happening for the 6 weeks in terms of, because the issue of tracking of the resolutions is a daily issue. If there's a development, it's just like a roster chart. Every day you go and write, or this one has been taken care of. This one has kept. So when you come as the management, you consolidate. But if you just put it there, then it's going to remain a challenge. On page 6 again, on the inconsistency between the condition of roads, paragraph 3.1, you are indicating that there is an inconsistency between the condition of roads asset as recorded in the asset register and the actual condition on the road. It is a challenge if we can make that assessment every time, so that what you are recording is what is on the ground. So what caused this variation? That is my question. What caused the variation? Who was giving records, and those records were based on what? Because the records must be based on what is on the ground. I just want to leave the issue of irregular expenditure. I'll allow other members to raise it, because it's a challenge, very serious challenge. And as long as you don't get this right, there is no way there will be an improvement in the audit outcome. There might not be the loss, which the AG usually saying there's no harm to the public, but it means that there is no compliance, because irregular expenditure is about compliance. If you don't comply, and it also says there is an element of fraud and corruption, because if you don't want to comply with the regulations, it means there's something that you want to do. Because if you are appointed to be in the CFO, we hope that you know the PFMA. We hope that we know all the regulations and the framework that is saying you must do this when you are appointing service provider. And if you skip one of them, to me is deliberate, and you are doing it for a reason known by you and you only. So in terms of consequence management, yeah, we see again the issue of written warning. We don't have a problem, but the problem is that we don't see evidence, the process towards that written warning. And what is worrying is that you have got the CFO, who was on the 24th, on the 20, where's that date? Was given a 3-month suspension as a result of the investigation. That investigation is there as annexure, is it annexure 8 or 4? Is detailing the investigation and is giving its recommendation that there must be consequence management, or you must institute disciplinary hearing. It's good. But we don't have evidence for the disciplinary hearing. We don't have the outcome of the disciplinary hearing. We just get on the table there that a CFO was given 3 months suspension without pay. And the annexure that we are referring to as annexure 3 is the one that I'm talking about, is the investigation report, which made a recommendation for the disciplinary hearing. The disciplinary hearing report is not there. The letter of acceptance of the sanction is not there, just like all other or most of these other sanctions that were the return warning and all those things. You see where you are saying return warning, but they don't acknowledge. It's very critical that a worker acknowledges the return warning and it be recorded and it be filed. If it has to be in the file for 6 months, then we know. Because if you only put that sanction from the disciplinary committee in the file and you say it was there for 6 months without him acknowledging, it may be contested. But what worries, prior to the suspension for 3 months, the CFO was also given written warning just 2 months before his suspension. I know, MEC, sometimes when we do the hearing, we say we look at the extent of the offense, the previous, if he is for the first time, and all those things, and the severity of the offense. But here is a person signing minutes of the meeting, he was not even part of it. And then you're giving him a return warning. And then after 2 months, then the investigation recommends a disciplinary hearing that was done or we don't know because there is no record, then given 3 months suspension without pay. So there's a lot of questions on this consequence management that are happening here. Really is a challenge. It is a very serious challenge. We also don't have the dismissal of the CEO. You say he was dismissed. We don't have that letter because we believe that everything must be followed by evidence. And another concern that we are raising is that, especially with the high irregular expenditure. Remember in the previous hearing we classified RAL as having the highest, constitution 73%, if you remember MEC, of 73 of the total irregular expenditure of the province. So this must be a concern and we must have very drastic measures to deal with this issue. The other issue that I want to raise before I give other people chance, or maybe I'll come back and deal with issues that maybe they would have not raised. Yeah, maybe let me note hands. Honorable Small, Honorable Mavuja, and Honorable Nempombulo.
The actual SIU report and maybe and the BDO report is not part of this presentation. The reason why I'm asking that is you do make reference to taking action, and I see the Annexure 12 that speaks to risk analysis report or this investigations report pointed fingers to the following 5 people or 6 people. So that is the first one. The STAB Sigma report finished, their due date was yesterday, or that 6-month period was finished 30 September according to your analysis here. I just want to ask, have they formally submitted? Have they complied with those timelines? It's right there at the last comment or the last comment of your presentation in that last column. I think it's your last bullet point. I just would like to ask if that is the case. You do make reference of your incomplete conditions assessment report that was done, and that you are now going out onto a procurement to appoint a procurement assessment. My question was, who was responsible for the initial assessment? Was it, if it was in-house, where did it sit? Because it talks about accountability, because this is where we are. It's about the accountability of it, Honourable MEC. So if that assessment sat with whoever it sat at role, and role was supposed to, maybe the person is incompetent to do it, or there's an HR problem, or a skill deficit. I'm just trying to understand who was responsible for it, and have you taken action against that individual like you've done with other people, or I'm trying to understand that limitation in that scope. Your previous CFO took the hammering for a 3-month suspension of the irregular expenditure, or the irregular expenditure of 6-point-something billion. Your findings and your investigations reports, internally and externally, because I didn't see it here, does it only point to the CFO? If it's not, because I'm trying to understand why was he the only one who got a 3-month unpaid suspended sentence? So some reports should have pointed out towards that. Maybe it's your CRO report, or I don't know how, but I'm just trying to understand that if we are going to play judge and jury, that we make sure that everybody's being held accountable and not just one person. And it's not clear. I can see warning letters, but I'm trying to understand the severity of the application, why it only sits with one. Your COO, the one that your CEO that left, was there an investigation or a disciplinary process that actually started? Did he resign, or did he just leave because his contract came to the end? MEC, if you maybe can put some light onto that, because what we do find in government is that some of our officials avoid accountability and therefore find greener pastures at other places within government. And I'm just asking, I just need clarification around that sanction. I'm going to leave to my other colleagues on my right. Thank you.
My name is Thabo Mawocha. and I'm a member of the Standing Committee on Public Accounts. Chair, I must say that today we saw the other side of you. You are not happy. You are usually ever smiling, but today, this entity that is appearing before us has made Chair very angry, and we are pleading with you, MEC, that can you please put the entity to terms and ensure that they steer this ship towards the direction that the 7th administration wants it to be. Be that as it may, Chair, you are actually right. It's actually a boys' choir that is not also represented in terms of youth, well represented in terms of youth. So please, as you are to balance, please take these factors into consideration. Now, to the real issues. You are correct, Chair. The maxim says, delegata potestas non potest delegare, which means that no delegated power can be delegated further. So I hope in the next sitting this will be very clear. So, King 4 Principles teaches us that the governing body should govern the risk in a way that supports the organization in setting and achieving its strategic objectives. So now, as you were presenting your report, MEC, on your risk and compliance, I have realized that with the stagnant audit outcomes and unresolved SCM irregularities, what are the integrated risk management framework that you have adopted that will help to not only to ensure that these controls are proactively monitored rather than reactively condoned? And then the other issues on stakeholder stakeholder Tuesdays. Well, we know that the KPIs for this stakeholder engagement are not just for compliance reporting, but even though we commend this stakeholder Tuesdays, but have you measured as to whether these engagements, what are they resulting in? Have they improved the trust within our communities? Have they reduced the litigations? Is there an alignment with community expectations as well as budget realities? Are our people well conversant with that? Now, I just want to check. I know, Chair, that we have got a fairly new board. MEC, is your board fully functional? Are they meeting all their, are they meeting regularly, or are there challenges, if any? But if there are no challenges, no problem. We want this board to be fully functional because they've got a big job ahead of them. So, Chair, there was a case that was reported, which is CAS 1561 of 2021. It's one thing to come here and report that, no, we have opened the case and there's no update until today. But what is from the time you open the case until to date? We're supposed to be told, Chair, or no, when we got this invitation to this meeting, we went to SAPS and made a follow-up in terms of this case, that we will be attending one meeting and there is an expectation from us to update that committee with the status report of this case. But I'd like just to come here and say that we have opened the case and then nothing has happened. Chair, I don't know whether it's a double jeopardy or what, but on the CFO got a deduction of 3 months' salary and then he got a warning letter, and then he got, I think he got 2 warnings. So I don't know how these things work, Chair. How many times is one supposed to get warnings, and how many, and after which warning is the entity compelled to ensure that this particular person must be taken for disciplinary action? Because we can't just come here and talk about warnings, many warnings and no action. Chair, when you look at the litigation report of the entity, you will see that construction contracts are quite high. So I just want to check, MEC, why is this one so high? What are the issues? Are there challenges within the system? And then, yeah, I think I will leave it here. Chair has raised a lot of questions that I would love to ask, but yeah, thanks.
That table, the totals there, under fruitless expenditure. Yeah, you were raising a question which I stopped you to say no. Oh, it's clarified? Okay. All right, no, thank you. But I also have a question on these ones. Oh, I must give an Nempumulun first.
Thank you, Chairperson. My name is Honorable Nempumulun Tisi. I think 70% of the questions have been asked by the Chairperson. But I just want to indicate here that on the CFO, I don't want to go back 3 warnings or so on. But it seems like there is a culture of blaming one person for the whole mess of the agents. And I don't think it's going to assist the RAL. That everything which has been done, I think, is now, according to these reports, blamed for the CFO. And again, I'm worried by the relationship between RAL and Treasury. Very, very critical. There are reports that there is no cooperation between the board members and Treasury. And we will wholeheartedly request the MAC to intervene. Because if Treasury wants to perform its duties in terms of supporting the agency and in terms of advising the agency, we could not have been in a situation we are in today. And you see, the worrying factor is that the figures, these figures of irregular expenditure, is increasing after financial year to the other. Irregular expenditure is increasing. And it's a testimony that there is no such a relationship between RAL and Treasury. And the other one is in the incomplete condition assessment of road network. I think partly the chairperson has touched on this one. But I'm worried about these RAMs. I mean, there is a RAMs, the conditional grant from DORA, managed by the Department of Transport nationally. And I think okay. There is this RAMS, which I know very well. I was part of it for the past 10 years. They assess, I think we work together on this one. They do the visual assessment and condition of the roads. But I wonder why there is an incomplete, because the service provider, I think, is appointed for the term of 3 years. But here, it's incomplete, this assessment, which also have a negative impact on the financial management. And also the late appointment of the service provider. This only reflects poor planning. That if we know that this service provider, which appointed in terms of the conditions and the terms of reference of REMS, you know that at this date, this service provider is going to end. And you have to do the preparation in terms of drawing the new terms of reference, doing advertisement, that by the time the service provider who is doing the work, by the time he is leaving RAL, the other one is coming to do that. And the Department of Transport nationally, they have a quarterly meeting so that you manage that thing. And also on the dismissal of the Chief Executive Officer, I don't know whether maybe I'm mixing things here, but according to me, in Annexure 4, I think it's just an investigation which has been completed to say that he may be found guilty of misconduct and so on. I think we'll just get a clarity on that one. And the other one is on the page 10. If you flag page 10 there, page 10, which talk about the significant uncertainty. Can you do page 10 there? Yes, on page 10, on number 3 there, property infringement. If you look at the amount of money claimed on that table for all the other items and the probably settlement there, the amount claimed in some of the items like motor vehicle accident and so on, they are higher, but the settlement is lower than the amount claimed. If you look, number 1, at a motor vehicle accident, 50 million, and then the settlement 43, employment contract 46, settlement 14, property infringement is 20. That is the only item which I have a challenge. Maybe after clarification I will know that the claimed amount is 20,470,000, but the settlement is 25,470,000. And the last item, the other litigations, is in equilibrium, 4,390,000 and 4,390,000, and is one item there. But that one alone, the amount of settlement is more than the claimed. So I just want to know the clarity there, because I'm now confused. The other last item is the late appointments of the contractor. I think maybe the action plan will respond to it. But for me, sitting here, I think when you are appointed as the CFO and the board members and so on, it's done simply because we know that you are having an expertise on that particular field. But when you do simple thing, not putting a tender into a bulletin, I think now a grade 5 learner who is doing EMS can know that. When you also do the contract outside B5, those are the simple things which I don't think we can sit here and then say some of the resolutions are not implemented simply because of that. And just late appointment of a contractor when you know that you have a budget and everything. So that's the concerned chairperson that we hope the MAC and the chairperson of the board will also assist in terms of making sure that we have a clean audit. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, honorable members. Just to add on the issue of irregular expenditure, that and I've referred to page number 6, where you explained in detail the irregular expenditures that were incurred, and then you are indicating that the misstatement of the irregular expenditure was also driven by high volumes of contract appointments made late in the financial years, which is caused by errors, omissions, and probability or the possibility of fraud and corruption. I'm emphasizing the issue of fraud and corruption because we can't always omit or make errors on the very same issues that the AG is raising every year. Unless if we're saying our officials do not have capacity. But we believe that as and when we appoint people with capacity, and we are able to take them through the internal courses or internal training so that we capacitate them the way we want them to be capacitated. But we still experience the high volume of irregular expenditure. And we are saying, because there are certain amounts that have been condoned, 4.244 billion, condoned because you were able to comply, because a condonment is not just automatic. You have to comply. You have to showcase the root causes. You have to show that you have done consequence management, and then the Treasury will say, okay, we condone. And we believe that if you comply and you cooperate with the Treasury, even the 2.1 million that you intend to, billion that we intend to submit for a condonment, you'll be advised on the processes and the compliance that need to be done before they do that. And we hope that you'll do that. And even this one, 1.9, which is 1.099 billion, which you are intending to do it in the end of Q1, 2025-2026. And we believe that you have started with the process towards dealing with that issue. But towards the end of the presentation on the irregular expenditure, or the last two paragraphs, you indicate that There are documents that are still, or the other investigations that are done by the SIU, and some were done internally and others externally. And you indicate that some of those are causing delays. For example, there is an SIU investigation. There is also a separate forensic investigation by the BDO. We started in 2019, and combined the document taken by SIU and BDO constitute 2.1 billion. And I believe that is the 2.1 billion that you intend to submit for condonation. And then if you still have the outstanding documents which are still with the SIU, for example, which we are not sure how are they going to be brought back, then it means, and the Treasury will advise on that when you are interacting with now. In this case, what is it that can be done to ensure that you are successfully submitting this 2.1 billion for condonement? And then you are further saying to support ongoing efforts, RAL appointed an independent service provider, Samba Solutions. In 2024, they have since submitted a draft report which forms the basis for further consequence management. The findings in this report also enabled the entity to prepare condonement application for irregular expenditure incurred during 2024-2025. Are we still, are we here already? Or you are just mentioning it just for information that for the 2024-2025 you have already done something? That's what I wanted to check. Well, now, what is the role of the Samba Solutions in terms of assisting the entity in dealing with these issues? Maybe you are saying to assist in getting the documents from the SIU. I don't know, but I know an independent service provider may not rule or cannot have jurisdictions in terms of going to SIU to say, hey, people who have hired me, they want those documents. So, but I think you'll explain that. The other issue is the litigation, the litigations that you have indicated. But I'm more interested with this one-year motor vehicle accidents that we have spoken about at length during the hearing. That as much as they lodge this claim or they bring the claims to the department, are they claiming for the damage of the vehicle? Because I think that is what you can talk about. Because if they are claiming for other injuries and whatever, we said, let's have a standing principle to say, we will look at the damages of the vehicle, but on this other issue, the injuries, the government agree. South Africa is not a federal state. That RAF is our entity, so they can come and claim coral for body injuries. We have got that. So what I'm suggesting is, as and when we break down these claims, can we be specific to say this was for damages of the vehicle or whatever, so that we start to implement that issue, or no? For other injuries, they must go to RAF. The last one, fruitless and wasteful expenditure. Of course, the numbers, though I'm still confused. I'm not sure if I understand what is on this table in terms of numbers, but because others have understood then they will explain to me outside this meeting. The numbers, I'm not sure if these other numbers are millions or whatever, but it's fine. I'll catch up as and when we move forward. I was noting the recovery. Hey, we're recovering very little, man. We must improve. We must come up with a way of recovering the fruitless and the wasteful expenditure. Is very, because if all these things, MEC, if they are addressed, it's going to be very simple for the Treasury to condone, and then that it will clear these numbers from your financial books, and obviously that will improve the chance for you to get a better audit outcome. But if they are still there, is a problem. The last thing is on the audit outcome. I spoke to it, but I just want to emphasize to it that you said on the action plan you have got management monthly meeting. And that is why I'm saying, what is your observation in those monthly meetings? There must be something that you are presenting to say, we have observed this and we are doing 1, 2, 3. Thank you, MEC. I think those are the questions that we wanted clarity and the comments.
No, thanks very much, Honorable Chair. And let me start by acknowledge
maybe MEC before Mr. Machete, and as Mr. Machete is speaking, Honorable Machete, you'll be given chance. Honorable Small has apologized upfront that he's having another meeting in Marule, and he requested at 2. And I think this is the time for him to leave. You are released, Honorable Small. Yes, Honorable Machete.
No, thanks, Chair. Machete Percy. I just want to speak to specific issues on the progress report. But also appreciate the report, even in terms of its establishment with regard to some committees that give effect to the proper functioning of the board, because the board has to give a strategic direction in terms of what needs to be done in that regard. So it's very important to appreciate that so that we are able to move on. But on the other hand, there are a few issues that I want to raise, particularly with regard to irregular expenditure, where you are saying Mr. Maluleke caused the irregular expenditure. And I think it's proper that we need to be clarified as to, in that chain, how did an individual in the name of Maluleke cost the irregular expenditure? Secondly, on consequence management, you making reference of forced consequence management against officials. Once again, I just want to check as to whether, how does you force compliance management? Do you force it or do you implement it? And if you force it, explain to us how does it come that you force it? But of course, on the other part is in relation to the lost documents. I will not speak much, a reference has been made, but what is key is, what is it that you could report to us in terms of the conduct of the South African Police Service? Because otherwise it would mean that we will forever not have this information.
But there's another issue which I would want to believe that for purposes of those who are also viewers at home, it will be proper just to give a sense of what we mean by B5, table B5. And in terms of your explanation is that it's a table that is developed based on the entity's available budget. Yes, but I think just to give that prescription so that the viewer at home is also able to understand what it means by a table B5. You went on to say that on the stagnation in audit outcome, that the primary cause is non-compliance with regard to SCM. But in that chain of non-compliance, if we are to rank that, it's fine. But the question that will arise is to what extent have you gone to ensure that you are able to deal with the matter as raised? I would have thought that I would continue to ask other questions, but I think in the interest of time, one would have to pause there. Thanks very much, Chair.
Yeah, thank you very much, MSC.
No, thanks very much, Chair. And let me start by acknowledge Chair and honorable members, all the gray areas that have been raised here by yourself, honorable Chair, and honorable members. On behalf, Chair, of this management, I would like to apologize and recommit that we'll do things the better way going forward. But be it as it may, Chair, the reality is that the entity needs to improve in terms of how they are doing things. It's a fact. And also correct all the mistakes that we have committed in the previous year. But also, in terms of consequence management, I think honorable members here, colleagues were very clear on what must happen. And I agree with honorable members that when we institute consequence management, it must cut across the board, Honorable Chair. And it must also hit the small fishes. It must not be only on one person. So we are going to work tirelessly together with the team at RAL and the Department of Public Works, the Roads and Infrastructure Chair, to deal with some of these historic challenges that we found ourselves in. On the issue of Audit and Risk Committee Chair appointments, maybe our presenter here was not clear on the matter, but the fact of the matter is that there is a serious progress. Like you said, that if there is progress, we must talk about it. I think we've lagged on that, but the fact of the matter is that there is a serious progress on that. We've managed to appoint, to advertise, shortlist, interview, and appoint all 3 risk committee members. And I think 2 weeks back, we're having induction where we're inducting them. So we're now having a fully fledged board that we have appointed since the 1st of April. With all the committees that are in place. So with this risk committee in place and active, Treasurer will agree with me that it's going to play a very big role in terms of making sure that we do things differently. The other issue is on the relationship with Treasury. I'm also worried, but since we are dealing with historic challenges, I will not maybe say that I'm not aware of that. I'm saying that, Chair, precisely because currently I think we're working very well with the Treasury. Since the 7th administration, this is the start of the 7th administration, from the appointment of us when we were trying to rescue the entity, the appointment of the accounting authority, we have done it with the Treasury. There are several issues that we have included Treasury from the MEC and the HOD currently, but I will not dispute that there was no cooperation in the past, but I can tell you that there is that good working relationship with Treasury. Even when we were dealing with the issue of the maintenance that RAL is going to implement on behalf of the department, we were doing that together with the Treasury. So currently, I think the relationship in terms of the progress from where we're seated is good, but the fact of the matter is that there are historic challenges that need to be attended, and we are going to make sure that we attend to that. There were issues raised here in terms of the attachments of whatever we've been speaking about here, especially on the consequence management of the officials. I can assure you, Honorable Chair and committee members, that we'll make available of those attachments. Honorable Smile asked about the issue of the CEO, whether there were disciplinary hearings. I can assure the committee here and Honorable Smile that yes, indeed, there were disciplinary hearings. Like I said, we'll then attach those reports so that when we meet in the next 2 weeks, like you said, we'll then be able to be having those particular reports in terms of what is expected from us by this honorable committee. On the issue of RAMs, from where I'm seated, I am confidently aware that the contract has been advertised, and on Friday there will be what we call briefing session where we assure the committee that before the end of October, after we've done with all the processes, we'll be able to appoint the RAMs. So the processes are in place. On the issue that the committee is seriously making a radar, special radar on, is on the issue of why waiting for the contracts to end then after you advertise. I think that is exactly what must be done, and we were very clear on that, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members, that it must be for the very last time that we know, or there will be, this tender will expire in December, but now it's October, there's nothing that we're doing. So we have also sharply raised that particular issue, and it will be attended to as and when we're trying by all means to bring back the entity to its former glory. Like I said, that we acknowledge all the mistakes that have happened, and we are ready to make sure that we do things differently. With the new board that has been established there, with all the committees that are in place, I can assure you, Chair, that things are going to show in terms of the changes in the entity, because we are also currently with trying to strengthen the internal capacity of the entity, where we have advertised about 40 posts, including the post of the CEO, the company secretary, and other posts that have been acted there, including the internships. There are about 27 of them. So we're trying by all means. I've also made it a point that I meet with the colleagues there every Friday in the recruitment meeting, where I get a report on how far they are in terms of recruitment processes. On that one, I can assure you, Chair, that we're trying by all means to then strengthen the internal capacity of the entity. The table B5, like you said, Honorable Machete, is very clear, is is the table where all the contracts as per procurement plan of that particular financial year are listed there. And previously, like the report is saying, we had the challenge that the colleagues there will deviate from the table B5, which then goes straight to irregular expenditure. So we have put a special rata also on it, that it must not repeat itself, as but also it then goes back to Treasury, the relationship with Treasury, that together with Treasury they can be able to get clear guidance on what must happen. On the issue that was raised by Honorable T. Mabuja on the issue of Stakeholder Tuesday, I can assure you, Honorable Thabo Mabuja, Honorable Member, that we are doing very well in terms of the Stakeholder Tuesday. I'm saying that because since we have established this Stakeholder Tuesday, where we meet every Tuesday, like yesterday, I had a Stakeholder Tuesday. I arrived at the office boardroom around 7:30. At some times we go out of the boardroom in the evening, where we are meeting stakeholders, our communities who are having challenges of road infrastructure in the province. And the method that we use there is that we don't exclude anyone. We meet the traditional leaders, the forums, community leaders, councillors, PMTs of municipalities. So currently we've already met more than 100 communities. And I can assure you that if it was not that meeting, something bad would have happened in our communities. So that meeting is yielding very positive results. We have make sure that through that meeting, we are able to share our frustrations as government, but not only frustration, it also helps us in terms of planning when we plan for our year ahead. Like now, we'll be constructing, upgrading 21 roads from gravel to tar. And some of the roads, we have prioritized them from that particular meeting where we saw the very serious challenges. The fact of the matter is that we are still having 21,000 stretch of kilometers in the province, and 13,000 remains gravel. So all the 13,000 kilometers of gravel, our people needs those roads. The roads are very critical. Some connects to economic activities in their particular community. So all of them, the 13,000, are important. But the fact of the matter is that when you go back and look at how much we need around about 320 billion to then can say, seated here comfortably, that we have done with the issue of gravel roads in our province. Hence, it prompted hashtag the Wednesday Service Delivery Initiative, Honorable Chair, where in the meantime, through the Stakeholder Tuesday, where there are decisions that we immediately take in that particular meeting, where we activate our Wednesday Service Delivery Initiative, which in the main prompted the department to also hire more than 450 people in a space of a year. So through the Wednesday Service Delivery Initiative, we are able to deal with the blading and the graveling of our roads in the province. So with this Stakeholder Tuesday, we are able to then prioritize where there is a serious need of this because they can't just be all over. So it really helps us. And the program is yielding positive results as we're changing the lives of our people in the province, as is one of the priorities of the 7th administration, to create jobs for our people. On the issue of variation, I think I will then leave this one to my colleagues. Stagnation also, I will allow my colleagues to then deal with this particular one. For now, Chair, through you, allow me to then pass the baton to the Chair of the RAL Board.
Thank you.
Thanks, Honorable MEC, Honorable Chair, and members. I'm equally getting the issue of non-cooperation of our officials from Treasury for the first time. but we have taken note of the issue and we will attend to that particular issue very, very seriously. But I must indicate, Honorable Chair and the members, that as much as Raleigh has regressed, but we are proud of some of the decisions that we have taken when we took over. The issue of the 1.3 overcommitment aspect that we have been talking about. Imagine if we did not take a decision to put on hold the 46 contracts which were supposed to start at that particular moment. Those people would have finished work now when the agency does not have money to pay for such contracts. The agency would have closed shop. So I'm just raising one of the particular decisions that we have taken to say we have inherited an agency with challenges, but we took it upon ourselves to try as much as we can to attend to those issues. The 9 billion irregular aspect is one of the issues that the agency has been battling with for 8 years. I had an opportunity to try and track where this particular aspect started. And it's only this year that we managed to get the 4 billion plus condonment from Treasury, because we took it upon ourselves to investigate how did we arrive to this particular challenge. And we continue to work very, very closely with management to attend to the remaining amount to try and clear our books. The Honorable MEC spoke about the audit and risk, that we have a functional one now at the agency. There is a question that Honorable Chair, I want to clarify, which suggests that the CFO appear to be the only person who has been targeted, for lack of better word, with regard to the aspect of irregular expenditure. But I think the honorable members will appreciate the fact that the CFO remains the custodian of the finances of the organization. And the decision that we have taken at the time did not suggest that no any other person must be punished with regard to this particular aspect. It's up to the CEO, if he was to identify other people who report to him who might have contributed to this other aspect, to apply consequence management through the relevant disciplinary measures that have been put in the organization, of course in consultation with the acting CEO. So it was not like there is a decision to say he is the only one who has contributed to this aspect. The decision was as a result of him being the custodian of the finances of the organization. And we thought he should have put mechanisms in place to make sure that we don't arrive to this particular challenge. And not, as I've indicated, not forgetting the aspect that if there are other people who would have contributed in one way or another to this 9 billion irregular expenditure, it will be up to him to identify such officials in consultation with the CEO, make sure that consequence management apply in that respect. As the board, we are equally worried about the high volume of litigations, Honorable Chair. You will see in the report that is coming when we come back here that we'll report that there's over 1 million with regard to litigations that the organization will have to part with if we're to lose all the cases in the agency. And there's a reason why. The agency remains a contested agency, of course, given the high volume and the amounts involved of the contracts at the agency. But we have also taken a decision that we will arrange a session with our counterpart, Sandra, to try and learn best practice with regard to this particular area and see how best can we try and be assisted to improve in that area. I must confirm, Honorable Chair, that your observation on a challenge with regard to us tracking resolutions of Parliament or yourselves is correct. The same observation has been made by the board. Hence, we have taken a decision that implementations of resolutions of ourselves as the board and of all the other relevant structures, including SCOPA, will be a standing item in all our board meetings so that we are able to try and attend to all the issues that we would have agreed upon. And lastly, I must indicate, Honorable Chair, that we have reported that we have a forensic investigation that is also almost complete now. And we will share with the committee when we come back the outcome of this particular process, which is almost done. From my side, I think those are the issues that I have noted, and I will therefore hand over to my colleagues to try and deal with some few specifics that they would have noted as we were engaging.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I will like to first apologize. I'm not well. I have a terrible flu since Monday. Hence, I've asked for my colleague to do the presentation. But just to clarify two things that are critical. We have established a team at RAL now to deal with emphasis on internal audit. That will help us to track each and every expenditure that we have incurred irregularly. And we have then since taken one of our strongest officials who has managed to assist us with that condonement to deal with the issues of condonement going further. The target is to get, before the end of the next financial year, probably have reduced that to less than R1 billion. But it is just difficult because some of the documents are no longer in the building, and we are trying to use alternative methods to track the documents that we can find, and then so that we can corroborate and support what has been done in the past. The second issue is that there were investigations done in the past. The first one was the SIU report, which we got, and there is the Samba solution report. Finally, there is a report that is there, and currently those two reports are being scrutinized by the forensic investigation that is in the building, with a view to assist them to give us an outcome or a report that will assist us to be able to present it back to the board as quickly as possible. And then maybe perhaps just to add, there are this litigation issue that the chairperson has just mentioned. We have decided that we are going to find a way in which we just don't want to accept any claim that comes. We need to first investigate the claim, see if it is legitimate, because a person can hit a tree and come back and say there was a pothole that caused the tree, that caused the accident, but the road accident fund vis-a-vis RAL, bodily claims can be claimed from the road accident fund. The damage to the car, that is why we are saying we need to first corroborate with road accident fund, as well as manage the investigation arm of our own entity that will investigate those claims that are alleged to have been caused by the condition of the road, etc. I will hand over to the CFO to deal with certain matters that probably might have been asked.
Thank you. And I'll try to address a few of the questions that have been raised. I think the first one was the inconsistency between the road condition
and the information reported in our financial records. So the reason for that is because we could not assess the entire road network, given the size. In the current financial year, we relied on the in-house personnel to assist us with that, and they were able to only assess 700 kilometers out of the entire road network. That was mainly because we did not have the service provider appointed in place. Maybe I can also just add the reason for late appointment of the service provider, which was mainly because when we tried to deal with the issue of overcommitment, the arrangement was, there was an agreement between RAL and Treasury whereby we have to put the procurements on hold. And so our interpretation initially was that we need to put all the tenders on hold, but then it was further clarified that that moratorium only applied to the infrastructure procurement. So now by that time it was already late, but then we tried to explore other avenues, including participating in the transversal contract, which was arranged by the National Department of Public Works, but that also did not yield the result that we expected. As a result, we have to rely on our in-house staff. Then there was also the questions around the clarity. Let me just go to that amount of property infringement, where the amount claimed versus the settlement. Actually, there was an error. I just checked the financial statement. The amount was supposed to be 26.470 million instead of 20.47 million. So that is the error on our part. So your observation was correct that you can't have a probable settlement which is higher than the amount claimed. There was also a question of 2.1 billion on page 8, where the chairperson talked about how are we going to get the documents from SIU and DBO. So in that, we actually talk about the 2.1 billion documents were taken. They actually contributed towards slow progress in terms of the application of condonement of irregular expenditure. But all those documents have all been returned back. So we don't have issue with that. We're just highlighting the fact that there's low progress. Those, to some extent, they also contributed. There was also on page 6 where there was a reference to the issues of misstatement on the irregular expenditure. So maybe just to clarify, basically what it means is that the financials, the irregular expenditure on the financial statement was not disclosed accurately, mainly because there were appointments that were made towards the end of the financial year. So those appointments are not the one that caused irregular expenditure, but it is the accounting for irregular expenditure in the financial statements which was an issue, and that was caused by the fact that towards the end of financial year, when you make appointment, they often come the issues of cut-off, which I think the people from Treasury will be very much familiar with that kind of error. That often happen when you actually are making appointment at the very last minute. There was also a question of integrated risk management that was asked, whether we do have that in place. We actually have that. We have got a GRC, a governance, risk and compliance unit in place, which specifically deal with the risk management. And we also have the combined assurance model, whereby we look at we have got the internal audit, we have got internal control, which we call it proactive assurance et al. And then we have also compliance. And all of them, they actually work together to make sure that they implement the risk management process so that we can manage risk to maximizing the value achievement of organization. So I think I'll leave these other ones where they talk about yeah, I think that is it from my side. Thank you.
Good afternoon, honorable members, chairperson. Just on the roles and responsibilities with regarding to RAMS, the Road Asset Management System, just wanted to provide a bit of clarity there. As the honourable member has stated, as per the DORA, the Division of Revenue Act, it identifies what the PRMG grant money will be used for to collect road asset management system data. And then it then further highlights that it's governed by the TMH 22, which is the Technical Methods for Highways 22 report, which can be, you can easily just Google it and you can download it, but we will share that document, which then identifies all the roles and responsibilities of the committee that will handle the road asset management system, which ultimately is the CFO is the custodian, but then there's other departments like IT, then the design engineers, the bridge engineers, the traffic engineers, followed by the planning engineers, road safety auditors, asset managers, GIS specialists, etc., that will all contribute towards compiling the road asset management system data, which will be used in the financial statements. I just wanted to also highlight that in 2021-22 financial year, we had appointed a service provider to do the road asset management data collection and analysis right up to the 24-25 financial year. It got extended till about July 2024, and then thereafter the tender document was ready, but then there were delays in SEM procedures to advertise that tender document. Hence, the entity engineering team as well as the finance team embarked on collecting data ourselves, and as the CFO highlighted, that we only managed to collect around, say, 10% of the entire network. Hence, the data was incomplete. But in going forward as a mitigation measure, in the new tender document that we've prepared that will close on the 24th of October, as the Honourable MEC had mentioned earlier, we've included further equipment so that, actually purchasing of more equipment so that our internal staff could collect data on our own and also strengthen our internal capacity. Initially, when we first had the tender out, the equipment that we purchased was mainly to do quality control check on the service providers that we appointed. Hence, we didn't have all the equipment and the resources at hand to complete the full network. But going forward, we've mitigated that by adding it into our new tender document. So if we proceed with in-house capacity going forward to implement the road asset management system data collection and analysis, we would be able to do that then. Yeah, thank you.
No, thanks very much, Honorable Chair and honorable members. Through you, Honorable MEC, just to talk to one question from Honorable Machete. And I know how thorough he is normally during debates in explaining and defining all these key documents. And the question was, what is a Table B5? And the Table B5 is an infrastructure budget table. It speaks to the capital budget. In the estimates of provincial revenue expenditure, it will be a summary of all departments in terms of their infrastructure projects. But each and every department in its own vote budget, it will also have that Table B5, which will then refer to the projects that will be implemented during that financial year. It even shows per municipality over the medium term as well, if the budget goes over 3 years. But that is in the main, the Table B5. Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks very much, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members. Those will be our responses as the department and our entity, Road Agency Limpopo. Back to you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much for the responses. We appreciate the detailed responses that you have given. Just want to check if there is still clarity. Honorable Nampumulane?
Thank you, Chairperson. It's not just a clarity per se, but I'm kindly request to differ with the Chairperson in terms of the CFO. When you come to him or her, then she or he will indicate the other people who have done wrong. We believe in a collective decision, and not so long when he is responding that RAL put procurement on hold. And I believe that is the collective decision, so that you do something so that it will be smooth. I don't think it's the decision of one person, the CFO. But believing that we have a new board, we have the acting chief executive officer and so on, we have a belief that everything will be in order. It's just to sensitize the new board members that when dealing with something like an organization or an institution, the gist point or on the decision-making body is collective there. And we must also see the chief executive officer be liable to what has been done in the organization or in the institution. That when we can't bank that when we come to the chairperson will say, the secretary will say, what. Correctly so, the MAC said, we want everybody from top down who is affected to be responsible and accountable. That is the statement which shut everything, but collectively. Not that we will just say other people who are not innocent and so on, and then be responsible for that. But we are happy that maybe the new committee will take RAL back to its glory. Thank you very much.
Let me just say I concur with what the honorable member is saying, and it's exactly what I said.
Thank you very much. We're noting what you are saying, Honorable Nampumulane, but I also, before the MEC can respond, wanted to raise an issue. I don't understand the role of the Samba solution. I really don't understand, because at one stage there was, you said SIU and Samba solution reports are going through the investigation, whoever that you have appointed in the department. And then in the document, there is a Samba commission. My understanding was to say it's going to assist in collating or making sure that the documents are available. And so can I be clarified on the role of the Samba commission as appointed as an independent, whatever. Yes, now you can respond, Ms.
Very much, Honorable Chair. I was saying I'm tempted to agree with the Honorable Nembumbulor on the response that I gave on the issue of the consequence management to the CFO. If I was in a meeting at my church, which deployed me here, I was going to call my chair here to order, but I just deliberately left him because you said, Honorable Nembongololo, I have already touched on it and responded to it. Maybe let me give my the acting CEO to respond on that SAMRA. But the fact of the matter is that all the investigations that have been conducted need to be implemented, and each one of them must have their own reports. I think that's the bottom line before even the CEO did this.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC. Chairperson, what basically maybe I was trying to say was that there was an investigation by Samba Solution. If you look at the report, we're saying they've submitted a draft report. We indicated that now that report is final, it is there. So there is also that report which the CFO was also referring to, the SIU report, which is also there, and it can still be attached. But the CFO will just explain the terms of reference of the Samba Solutions when they were appointed. What is it that they were supposed to be doing for the agency?
Okay. Yeah, that issue that I've been raising, that a progress must be recorded, because you live with the information hanging. You confuse the chair, and then you now later give a correct explanation. So if that was to be updated on the report, there were not going to be many questions. I usually say your report must talk. I'll wish a situation where one day when we read a report you just presented, and then we say thank you and we go. And that is possible as long as you give detail to the report. It is going to be possible. So I think that was the last clarity, and we really want to commend you for the responses. But I want to come to what Honorable Nampumulane has raised, which you have explained very well, and which is very correct. Each and every employee, at whatever level, have responsibility and has to account. But the final accounting officer, in this case, will be the CEO. And to us as SCOPA, if something goes wrong in the department, we don't even look at the CEO. We don't even look at the chairperson of the board. We look at the MEC. And we say MEC must account. Why did this thing happen? And we will go with the levels until we get the last person who have been negligent or whatever. But what we are saying is the immediate supervisor must take action. If the immediate supervisor is not taking action, the supervisor of the supervisor must take action. If the supervisor of the supervisor is not taking action, the general manager, we are those levels until, if those things have not happened, then the MEC will say, Chairperson, CEO, why didn't you take action? And then they will, the MEC will take action on the chairperson or the CEO based on the fact that he has not taken action on the person who has done a mistake and is causing the department these issues that we are raising. And I'm sure MEC, nonwanela ya kulube wa tsena ka lešakeng wa itseba ke. Ye ile o tshwantse re pata e be champion e tsena ka lešakeng. E pata e palela re bitsa mollo officer. So o tshwantse ba pata le mollo le metsi o ya ka level ya John. To an extent, they are the last person or the last animal that did not perform its function, then is the one that is accountable. When we say the last, translate, these things cannot be translated. If the cat, because I think the last thing is the cat, cannot cut that rope, and the rope tie the cow drink the water distinguish the fire, just like that. It will not say, "I, the water did not do what." We say, "What did you do as the MEC?" And if you have not done anything, it means the MEC the premier can institute consequence management against. So we are saying, let's have culture of accounting at every level. Ordinarily, you find that most of the things that we charge the CFO, he has nothing to do with them. He did not even know what they happened. But for the fact that he has not taken action, then he must be responsible. But we are encouraging teamwork. We are encouraging a line that is working. We are encouraging accountability and responsibility and transparency. So if we work as a team, there's no way we cannot succeed. So I just wanted to emphasize that. And then the other issue is on the strategic planning. And I heard that you had a session yesterday dealing with the strategic planning. Because planning is a very critical aspect of the success of each and every organization. If you fail to plan, obviously you are planning to fail. And you have to strategically plan in such a way that you are able to identify your weaknesses, your threats, and your opportunities and strength. And if you can just start there, you can be able to strengthen even the organogram, and you'll be able to move as a team, knowing your gaps and knowing your weaknesses, and as such. But if we don't plan properly, then it's very difficult to achieve what we want to achieve. Obviously, and I've always emphasized, and I'll emphasize every day, that we can't fail to correct our mistakes. We can't fail corrections. And I want us to get out of this meeting with a target of the resolutions of this, of the implementation of this, because I think before the end of this month, we must have a meeting to make a follow-up of this. If not the end, maybe the first week of November. So that we need to push these resolutions. Because MEC, re bone hore ba palelwa akere 34 ka January, still around 34 ka October. No, it can't be. While I was still at school, those learners ba ile hore ba tshwarisa bothata, I would say, because I le hoi, ke tlo le hoisa. So if you don't pull, we'll make you to pull. So this is the time that reba hois ka baka la hore bona ba paletswe ko hoya ka bo bona. So a period from now and whatever date that you will identify, ke period ya hoisa. So that at least we are, now I'm proposing that if we can be above 60, it will be better. If by that meeting we've implemented 60, and then you'll tell me when you are agreeing, I'm going to give you a chance to close MEC. And MEC, I know that you indicated that you have your Friday's management meeting in the Department of Public Works. Are you leaving the management of the RAL out of those meetings, or are they part? And I propose that if they are not part, they are part. Okay, if they are part, then they must at least give you progress of their monthly reports. We must just keep this wheel going. There's no way we must start, not at this time. And then on the cooperation of RAL and Treasury, I could hear that there is no working together. I don't have facts, but as they are talking, I could hear. So I'm delegating you, and I have powers now to delegate you, at least when you are here. just facilitate, just check how they work. Because what we want to comment from the Treasury is to be with RAL from now up until they do their financial, the financial statement, so that they must get out, they must go back to where they, and even towards clean audit. So we usually have special project with the Treasury that they be with the department. The reason why education has improved, and even the Department of Roads, you know MEC, and we congratulate, I forgot to say congratulations that we moved from qualified to unqualified. That's progress. So the reason why these two departments were able to improve, we gave very clear instructions to Treasury that work with this, especially education, because education, remember, had more than eight years on qualified. So they had to work closely with them and deal with issues that are possible findings from the AGS. And that thing is assisting and is working. So we are going to request that they be with you. And now we know that you are able, you know all these things. Is that I don't know where you are missing, because you have been on at least the unqualified audit. So I think we have done justice, though we are not satisfied with progress, but let's work together to ensure that we make progress together. You are no longer on your own. And I think MEC sometimes must also invite me somewhere when you are dealing with this, so that I check if you are really dealing with these resolutions. There's no way you can get an improved audit outcome as long as you are still having the 6 billion irregular expenditure. So let's get a way to deal with this thing, disclose them, condone them, and then we'll see once all these things are cleared, then we'll be able to have a fresh start. So with those comments, I'm going to allow, if the Office of the Treasury have some comment, and I'm going to give them chance.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable MEC, for the responses. We have taken note of the instructions and the responses we have received. But Chairperson, I must just put this into context so that when we move out of here, we understand where we must go, and appreciate the response by the acting CEO that they've put the team to deal with the irregular expenditure assessment. We are raising this because our balance as the end of March was around 10.5 billion. And out of that 10.5 billion, 60%, which is 6.4 billion, is for RAL. So you can say if we can clear the 6.5 billion from RAL, it means as a province we have a better position to present even in legislature and everywhere in terms of that condonement. So that is where we are asking MEC the intervention to say if we can, and I'm happy that you said you have the report from SIU, you have report from the other investigation. For sure they will assist you in terms of that process. So it's our bigger issue to say if we can clear this one, we would be in the right footing with the AG. The AG during the briefing session last week says, as a province, we seem to be having a high tolerance level to irregular expenditure, which means when he comes to audit us in this current financial year, he's going to focus on what are we doing on consequence management, especially on irregular expenditure. Because if it goes to that, you can imagine as coordinating ministries, Premier and Treasurer, it means our clean audit will go down the drain because of this irregular expenditure. So it's our plea that let's work on that and make sure that we improve. We have just said for the second quarter on Tuesday for the irregular expenditure, there was no submission from RAL. So I will urge that in the next sitting of October or November, let RAL submit their documents and let's look at them and make sure that we can deal with half of it. And that's my submission, Chairperson. Let them assist us in that space. Thank you.
Thank you. So it means even in our next meeting, MEC, it means we will not have any progress on the regular expenditure because that meeting has passed. What do you call it? Condonment. It said on, and the next meeting will be in November. You're sitting monthly. Okay. We are noting that. We believe that they are still in the process of making sure that they submit, but please submit on time so that we are able to have progress of that. It's very important that we submit on time. Remember, this is the third court. Is it the third court? Second. Today is August. Yeah, no, it's finished yesterday. This is the third court. So, in no time, we will be required to start with the preparation of the financial statement and look at the expenditure that need to be condoned. And I agree, it does not mean that we just we just submit today, and then it is condoned there and there. Sometimes they will say, go and do what. So we must give space for that, so that by the time we are going to deal with the preparation of the financial statement, to submit for the 2026, 2027, whatever, the 25, 26, we have dealt with those issues. We really want to move to a cleaner government as the 7th administration. So, MSC, I'm going to give you a chance to give the comment, and please talk about the target of the implementation of the resolution.
No, thanks very much, Honorable Chair. I think the target, we have already put it, and we can't want to then contest that. On your recommendations, as the committee, we are very clear that at least 60% in the next meeting. But maybe just to indicate, Chair, that you know, some of the things are disappointing. Listening to what Treasury is saying, it then shows that there's a level of people who are just playful there in the entity. And something just needs to be done. You can't, when you know very well that you are contributing 60% of irregular expenditure of the province. They are calling a very serious meeting of condonment. You don't even submit a report. So I'll have to get the answers on that, Chair. And I think the issue that we have spoken about of consequence management just need to kick in, because this thing of people who are just playing and getting a lot of money. And by the way, there at RAL, they are just getting a lot of money, not doing the actual work. When you don't, we can't be begging here as the chair of SCOPA. We beg people to bring report. That's very wrong. They have to bring that report. We can't be begging them. It's not something, Chair, that we need to beg people to bring the report. So I already have a plan on what must happen going out of this meeting, and I can tell you that it's not a threat, but it's not going to be nice, because we can't just come here in front of people and then we are embarrassed like this. We're not going to allow that to happen, because people who knows very well about the irregular expenditure don't submit a report, don't even attend the serious meeting of Treasury about the irregular expenditure. So that on its own is a level of disrespect to all of us, and it needs to be attended to. So I will be convening the meeting with all of them, including the board and all that, so that they must just tell us whether they want to work with us or we just leave the things as they are. I'm saying that appreciating what the honorable members have raised here. There's a true reflection of what exactly is happening in the entity. I think you have been very lenient on us. You have given us an opportunity. We met the last time. Now we're still here. So we're going to go back and try by all means to make sure that we do things differently. The fact of the matter is that we have acknowledged that the committee is not happy with what we have been doing, the report that we have presented in particular about the 2014, 2015 to 2020, 2021 financial years. We are going to go back and try by all means to see how best can we salvage the situation that we find ourselves in. The fact of the matter is just this thing needs commitment and people who are really there for the work that they are paid for. So with these few words, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members, let me take this opportunity and appreciate your time. Treasury, please, we are in an abnormal situation. We will need you to babysit us, especially as RAL. As a matter of fact, things are not going well, and things just need to turn around as a matter of urgency. My office is always available. If you get hiccups, let me know in my office that you have been waiting for this report and all that. But on the issue of the report, I can agree with what you're saying, because even as the shareholder, at some point, we have to push them to bring the report. So it means it's just the tendency, the wrong tendency, Chair, that is there of people who are not taking their work serious. With these few words, Chair, allow me to then thank you and the honorable members. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, MEC. And you are very right. You are very right. It's so disturbing to be absent when you are there. You are absent because you are not doing what you are supposed to do. Especially at this time when we have to give our people service. Especially this time when we are faced with a abnormal rainfall and that cause a destruction of the road and all these things, that RAL must be on its toes every time. Because any time when we have a rainfall, it's floods, it's disaster, then you have to be very proactive. But we see an entity that is at its lowest performance, I must say. And that is what I'm thinking. It might be wrong, but that is what I see. Because if you can't do very simple things, from January to this time, you have not had any progress. And I repeat, a very insignificant progress. When I'm saying it's insignificant, it does not make a difference. It does not make a difference because it affected you with the 2024-2025 audit outcomes. And you are not even waking up to say, Evan, this thing of us not implementing resolution, it caused us this problem. You are still fine. You are still not submitting. And I'm telling you, MEC, if they continue like this, which I will not allow, they are still going to cost the audit outcome even 2025, 2026. And babajisa team baral. Babajisa team mola re then they are pulling the government down. And we can't allow that. We can't allow that. And you don't know, you don't even talk about your difficulties, and you should not have difficulties. You can't have difficulties when you have got all the resources at your disposal. So, like I'm saying, MEC, Roba hohisa, uzoro o hohisa mutu, it does not have any formula. Uzoro hohisa rgano lo wela faser no hoager. O yemel logano kumana huwila, rezo not about huwile gaimar. That is the approach that we are going to take. Those who understand speed will understand what I mean. It's going to be a very rough ride now because we have given you chance. We have given you chance to do your work and to correct what should be corrected. There's no efforts shown in the report that you are going to get out of this situation soon. And we are saying the Treasury must be there to support you. Please cooperate. Because it's only Treasury, they know all these findings that they are raised by the AG, how they can deal with them before even the AG can come. So if they are with the department or the entity, we are sure that when come the AG, most of the things will be improved. So, but we really want to acknowledge your efforts, though you need to be better, you need to do things better. Let's go back to the drawing board. Let's go back and look at our strategies that can improve this situation that we are on in. We are not going to compromise on the service delivery. We are not going to compromise on the compliance. We are not going to compromise on performance. We have to perform. We don't have any choice. I get reapply. Reapply. But we just interview after I get tata. Ba botsa gore wa tsa re keng. Rena re ka aga maru ka matsogo. A re age. Let's do that. What we said we'll do. So, MSc, Ernest Rachweni, Pakana Thabirwa, I want to thank you for your efforts on your team. And we believe that through your leadership, you can do better. So go and put focus to this RAL. Because if you improve public works, RAL goes down, and then RAL improves, just like a yo-yo. Do you know a yo-yo? Something goes up and then goes down. So it means there is no balance. So I know it's a lot of work to look at both, but try to balance them, try to get those who must account to account, and then where they need your assistance, you intervene. And I believe that we can have both of them improving their audit outcomes. So thank you very much for the entourage. Members, thank you very much. Staff, thank you very much. We have come to the end of our session. This is a very critical session because we believe that as and when we are going to start with our public hearings for 2024-2025, we would have done with a lot of issues that are from previous financial years. So we really thank you. I know most of us were very hungry because we did not have a break. We just thought maybe we'll just finish before we become very, very hungry. We are going to close now. Is there any announcement? Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. Our announcements are as follows. Lunch is ready at the foyer there, and you are all welcome to help yourself there. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Arieng ro hoha. Eusa hoi. Rea hohisa.